All right, got all the painting done. Like I said earlier, it blended well. And the light is not really good right now. I'm trying to find a freaking light switch. And that doesn't help. All right, well, it's hard to see, but this is 2 coats of Kills on top of the texture, and it blended really well. It's just hard to see in this light. So the next step, we're going to do something to enclose this air handler, make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, and buy the trim. I still got to seal up that top joint. If you can see it, but this one patch here came out really well. You cannot even see where it was previously patched or where we fixed the patch. I might see a small little, very slight shadows, but it came out really well too. Then we had this one small area down here that we patched, where previously it had a electric heater inset into the wall. Someone in the past had drywalled that in, but once again they did a really bad job. But we have fixed that, and it blended well. We got one more patch in here where a past resident / tenant probably put a foot in about right here. So we've cut it out square, basically to the furring strips, so we can attach another small section, and then we'll mud that in and do our best to kind of texture it in. All right, this is the second hit for the repair that we did. You can still see some of the tape line. So I'll get this sanded out and filled in today, and that'll be it, I'm sure. Got one little patch down here where the paint had peeled. We just kind of filled that in a little bit. We're cleaning up the air return area for the air handler, air conditioning. Could replace the grill, clean this up, paint it, and fill this in with mortar, make it look nice and clean. And probably have to foam some areas that still need to get sealed. And here we are enclosing the air handler. I just put up a couple pieces of plywood, cut an opening for the return. Got a new return, or not a new return grill, but pulled the grill out of the old area. And then I'm going to put this metal trim right here on the edge. And then we'll come up with some wood trim from El Home Depot here next time I get back, just to cover up these little gaps. Probably just a L type trim. So we got one more coat of paint to go on here. After I fill in this little crack with some paste, probably. Of course, the room itself is pretty much done except for the trim, which is where we're getting to next. Got the primer on the damaged, repaired area, which came out really good. Can't even see anything. And here, the paint was just peeling up a little bit, so I just cut the peeling paint off, and then we put some drywall paste on there, then primered it. So this is good to paint. And same over here, just had to primer some areas of concern. We'll just go over it with new yellow paint and these will be done. All right, got this done. You definitely cannot even tell that there used to be a hole here. Looks good. Then on this side, where the paint had peeled, there's no clue there was any damage there, so that's good. We got the air handler framed in. I put this metal trim piece, just drilled holes for the screws and screwed that in. And we put the vent and the filter back in. And on top, I went ahead and painted the area, because initially I was going to use this baseboard also for the crown. But I think I'm going to go to Home Depot and try to find something that's going to fit there tighter. Unfortunately, the thickest part is right here, and that's 7/8. So that's going to drive the width for everything else. I should have made it a little bit tighter, but at the time I put it up, I kept thinking I was going to use baseboard. Then I started thinking later that it would probably look better if it had its own distinctive crown piece. Well, this is just a recap of the finished room here. All the crown molding's in, baseboard's in. We caulked along the seams here next to the door trim. Fill that in. Put some quarter round in around the air handler. I still need to do one more baseboard cut down here to probably make it look a little bit better. Otherwise, we got all the finishing touches, basically. Still got an outlet cover and some small minor paint touch up to do. And we put new trim around the window. I just went with 1x4. I still got to do a second coat. I just got a primer coat on it. And that was a bit of work because I had to cut back the drywall a little bit and then shim up from the frame out to provide a base for the 1x4. So a lot of extra cuts to finish this one out. And you can see it underneath the paint. This was the original frame. Then I had to put in the shim and then the 1x4. So it's about 3/8 of an inch to 1/2 inch, depending on the distance. And of course it wasn't even. For instance, this is almost an inch for the shim, and over here it's 3/8. And I probably need to put a little bit of caulk up there on the top board. Yeah, I'll do that. And these are the little finishing touches that you probably need to take care of. Just take a look around and see where it needs. But otherwise, I can say we're pretty much done with this room.